I just got out of church. Now I'm gonna go to Dollar General real quick to get some toothpaste for us. I just got in my car from Dollar General. I hurried up because there was a creepy guy asking for rides to another county nearby. And I was like, I'm not about to get trapped in this situation. So I got some of these hair ties. They are so good because they like don't make those indentions in your arm, and I have a big wrist. So I normally have those red lines. I got these pencils. They're just cute pencils. I'll put them in the art studio because I use mechanical pencils to sketch. Got the tampons because I'm about to be going to the beach in Gatlinburg and I'll be on my period. 2 things of this toothpaste. I never really know which one to get. And then I got a sugar-free Monster because I'm not supposed to be having sugar right now, and I wanted to know if that flavor was good for whenever I'm driving to Gatlinburg. I'm about to head to one of the fast food places for my family to get them some food, and then I'll be heading home. Third day for the studio. They were having buy 2 get 2 free. So this is the size I normally do for weddings. It's just a 16 by 20, but a lady wants a 24 by 36 wedding canvas done for her. So I got one of those as well. And then I finally got one of these like T rulers. I don't know what a T-square ruler to do gridding and such. And then I also had to get a giant thing of white craft paint for my students. Let's see how well I can hold all this. You all are gonna watch me. The answer's not very well. There's no way I can get the house alarm off and the door unlocked with all these canvases in my hand. So I'm gonna have to make a couple trips so I don't break my canvases. I'm gonna scratch my car. Gotta get my bad boy tripod out too so we can film some painting. I just made it in the art studio. I actually got everything in only 2 trips. So basically I'm a professional now. I'm gonna start putting some of this new stuff up that I just got in, and then I'm gonna get my stuff out so I can work on some paintings of my own. I'll kind of show you all the studio. So when you come in the door, my desk is right here. This is where my kids put their checks and cash when they come to class. And this is just a small IKEA table. And then I have some floor seating here. One of my paintings is right here that I need to finish, and then one of my kids' projects, we're making a turtle out of trash. When you turn this way, when you come in the door, I have 2 of my shelves. One has mostly supplies on it, and then the other one is mostly kids' projects. So I got my markers, my little shoe boxes that are all labeled, my extra paper towels up there, which are the best thing ever. Same for my Mod Podge, my baby wipes and everything. There are 3 projects right there though that we're working on right now. And here's some of my students' art pieces. Some of them working on masks, some are working on the cactuses, the flowers. One's doing Iron Man. There's a lot of things going on. And then I got magazines down at the bottom. And then this is one of my tables that we work at. And then this is the new table over here. And then I have some of my art up on the mantle. You can kind of see me. Here's some of my art books that we kind of focus on. I have a mirror here. Just a Batman painting I was working on, which you can kind of see. And then the Lego flowers my boyfriend made me. This is one of my favorite paintings I've done. It was very recent. I just got some paints open. My little man. I'm working on these 2 wedding paintings right now. And then with the window it's kind of hard to see, but I have some art here. Some of these are for students' projects, like the ones down there at the bottom, but then the other ones are all mine. And then I have a roll of canvas as well. I'm gonna move these to this wall so that I can tape canvas up on that wall for me to be able to paint. My first goal today is really to finish these 2 wedding paintings. You can kind of see back there in the background. I leave for vacation at the end of this week, so I really need to get that done so that I can get those out to the people because I'll be gone for 2 weeks. And then once I'm done with that, I'm going to start on my own painting. It's going to be huge. It's going to be on one of my biggest canvases that I have, kind of like the size of that giraffe back there. So where my studio is at is in my grandma's old house. She passed away about like 2 years ago, and her house kind of just sits here. And I've always wanted to have an art studio to teach students and children and everything. So I've been working on cleaning the house, and this was the living room that we're in right now, and I turned it into an art studio. I know that she'd be so happy that somebody was still getting life out of her house. But anyway, there are like hidden treasures all over this house. There's beautiful milkshake glasses and beautiful art everywhere. And then just the other day when I was walking back in the house, I found this New York book. So this is just the book that it is. And I was looking through it and everything. I've been to New York before, and I came across this picture of Broadway. It's kind of glaring in the window a little bit, but I just find it so beautiful. So I'm going to be doing an expressive like version of this, but on a giant canvas, and I'm going to paint it and learn how to do gridding for the first time. In the studio, we use craft paint for the students' paintings on their canvases. If I used any higher quality, I'd be broke basically because of how fast we go through this. We've already gone through 3 big bottles of white paint, so I was like, you know, I'm going to get this big one, and then we can just refill this giant one. It has a pump top and everything, which is what I'm most excited about. But I'm very excited to have a giant pump top paint for in here. This is one of my favorite wedding pieces I've done. It is not nearly done. Their hair just has like the first coat of paint on it. So I'm about to work on that. But I just love the way her dress and her veil's coming out and everything. And also the sky. The background's gonna have some trees and stuff. And I also gotta work on these trees and their hair on this one as well. And just like the minor touch-ups on both of them, because they are going side by side in their house. Okay, here's the setup. So I got my image that I go off of, and my Netflix, of course, as well as my water. Here's one of the ones I'm working on, and I'm just gonna work on them side by side because I'm gonna be adding like trees in the background pretty much. I was just getting my colors out, my palette knife, and then some of the brushes I'm gonna be using. I like to use Golden acrylic. This is my favorite all-time brand now. I used to use oil paint only for commissions, and I got converted back. I have my primary colors in the Liquitex Basics. I love this brand as well. I have acrylic slow drying medium here. I then have my color mixing book to get exact colors, 1500 color mixing recipes. I'm in the landscape section right now. This is about the color I'm trying to match with for the background of the trees before I add the pops of color. Here's some more of my golden paints. These ones are pretty expensive, but it is honestly worth it. I use them mainly for my live weddings. Then I have my Stay Wet palette, which I'm very new to. This is my second time using it. I love it so far because my paint stays wet for forever. The last thing I have with me is my paper towels and then my glass brush jar. This is where I wash my paint. It just has some metal on the bottom you rub your bristles on. Okay, so this is what I got kind of going on. This one is pretty much done. I just added some silver paint into the dress to kind of make it sparkle a little bit when it dries and gets glossed and everything. I added a lot more foliage to that one. They look really good side by side. They look better in person, honestly, than they do in this room. It's a little bit dark and gloomy in here today, so you can't really see the details that I'm seeing, but I think they're almost ready to be glossed. I have been trying to figure out how to upscale a small image onto a gigantic canvas for the longest time using like technical tools instead of just like taking my eyes, looking at a small one and trying to figure out how to blow it up with the correct proportions. So I recently finally decided I was gonna sit down and watch a video on how to grid and learn how to take a small image and make it huge. So I did show you all just a little bit ago the giant New York Broadway book that I have. So this is the image that I want to paint on a giant canvas. I know it looks very hard, but it's because I want to challenge myself and be able to make prints of it after to sell. And I have a 36 by 36 canvas, and I was trying to figure out how do I take this very baby small image and make it gigantic. And so I found an app and I took a picture of the page in the book. I used the gridding tool, and then I used my calculator to divide it so it won't focus, but I did put the image into my gridding tool app, and I basically put it by 12 by 12 grids going this way and that way, so that when I divided it by 36 it'd be about 3 inches exact for each block that I'm going to be putting onto the big canvas. I think it'll work out perfectly because this is a square and the canvas is a perfect square as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make my measurements and then start gridding it up. Here's the image on my phone with the grids. You can kind of see the 12 by 12. So now I just got this new, like, I think it's called like a T-square ruler or something like that. And I'm about to make my measurements of every 3-inch. And then it's gonna keep going, and then I'll make my lines on this huge canvas. Amazing accomplishment. The whole 36 by 36 is completely gridded. It's 12 by 12 now, and it's time to start drawing up the image. Me and Mom just came back. She took me to get Mexican with my aunt and my little cousins real quick, and then she brought me back. I have been drawing the bottom staircase since I got back. I'd say I've been drawing it for about 20 minutes or so, kind of roughly putting the people in on the stairs. The hardest part is figuring out the number of stairs because they keep getting smaller until they basically vanish, and I gotta make sure I do it correctly so that it portrays that it just basically just vanishes into tiny little lines of stairs. I'm going to show you the stairs real quick, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and start drawing the buildings in and the windows and such things before I keep drawing people. So here's kind of how she's looking. The people aren't perfect. You can kind of see the humans. There's all of that left of canvas. I just transferred it to my iPad to make it a little bit easier for me to see, but I already got like some of the people standing in the background. I think though that I need to make these stairs come in more so it is actually correct, but all these stairs up here are good, and then there's like little feet in the corner and everything. This guy has a hoodie on and a backpack, and then there's a bench down there, and taxis are going behind that in the actual image down here. So I'm going to try to get those taxis drawn in. This process is definitely extremely interesting. It's a lot of like counting blocks, making sure all your proportions are going to end up being correct, and that is very difficult of a task. I'm actually really enjoying the difficulty of this process. I mean, it is definitely difficult, that's the word for it. Very challenging and not something I've ever done. I never have done buildings or anything like that. I've drawn like the studio that I'm in right now. I've painted a picture of that, but never something this massive with so many signs, colors, buildings, the sky, and humans everywhere. But I think it was gonna turn out absolutely amazing once it's finished, and then I can turn it into a print and sell it as a print as well as the actual finished piece. I honestly don't even know like how you price a canvas this massive that's gonna have so much detail in it. I don't know how you sell it, or even if you do sell it. Honestly, I could put it in some competitions and make money that way, and then probably sell prints of it, but I would rather do like a print on a canvas that's like wrapped around the canvas. If I actually sold prints, I wouldn't want it to just be an image, because then it's basically exactly what I got out of the book, just another one of that. This might end up being a little bit blurry, but I got to my ending point for tonight. The roads made, some taxis, started on some of the building signs. McDonald's is behind the end of the ruler and everything. Some little people. And that's about all my mind can focus on right now. There's so many lines going on, it's getting confusing. So I'm going to get some fixative tomorrow so I can seal it and start kind of getting rid of some of the lines down at the bottom especially, so I can start putting burnt sienna on it. I just got done cleaning up everything in the studio. I have really enjoyed my day today. It's been simple but sweet. I got through a lot of things that I absolutely enjoy doing, as well as learning more about using grids on a gigantic canvas. I definitely realized that the gray background on the canvas working with graphite on top of that isn't the best idea, but also I like starting with a gray base. So maybe next time I can draw it on just a gessoed canvas, white gesso, and I'll draw with graphite on that, and then I'll use fixative and go over it with burnt sienna after that. I think that might work better. It's still a learning process, but I am gonna finish cleaning up here at the studio, set up for tomorrow's classes, and then head home because I have work at 7 a.m. in the morning. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I know it was simple, but I just want to start filming my day-to-day life because not every day is spectacular like you see most people and influencers on social media. Their days are full of these expensive, fun plans, and that's just not normal for most people. Watch the next videos that are coming up because I'm super excited to start filming more often and just kind of making this a memory book for myself. My studio is a mess right now and I think I'm gonna have a panic attack.